Irvingman! This episode is called The Man in the Lead Mask. It's about this crook who creates a whole bunch of masks for his henchmen, but his is special so they know he's the leader. What? It's the man in the lead mask? Oh, very well. This episode is called The Man in the Lead Mask. It's about this crook who creates a whole bunch of masks for his henchmen, but his is special so they know he's the leader. Hey, if you don't like the joke, just say so. If we say you're gonna get a man in a lead mask, you're gonna get a man in a lead mask. He's the first thing we see. How heavy is that thing? We watch him break into the post office? Don't make it too obvious who you are, mister. Or maybe he wants to turn that guy in for the reward. It's just under 200 grand in today's money. I've discovered, by way of this series, if you want to convert $1953 into today's dollars, just add a zero. Remember the good old days when cops and robbers sent bullets flying all over our city streets? Now we just have tear gas and rubber bullets. How did we fall so far? One of the officer's shots chipped off a piece of the mask, so everyone knows it was made of lead. It's not hard to infer that the lead is to keep Superman from seeing who he is. The questions are why and what does it have to do with Marty Mitchell, probably the most wanted man in Metropolis.
But I got what I went after.
You took a little chance, didn't you, Marty? Or maybe you're just crazy about the way you used to look.
Well, I had to prove it to you guys. You wanted to be sure, didn't you?
He's had plastic surgery, so he has a new face. And that's not all.
They're different. He's changed his prints.
Let's get it straight, boys. I didn't do it. Let's give credit where it belongs. Doc, you did a perfect job.
Ahem.
He keeps tracking me down.
Inasmuch as this is the year 2020, and it is still not possible to surgically alter one's fingerprints, forgive me if I have serious doubts that it was possible in the early 1950s.
Maybe the doctor was an undiscovered genius whose innovations were never published and ultimately lost to the world.
Or perhaps the writers of this particular episode pulled that idea out of their... Ah!
Microsurgery wasn't a thing, it's true. And because of the way the different layers of skin grow, any surgical alteration like this would be temporary. The skin would slough off the old stuff and the new growth would have his original prints. As the folks at How It Works Daily put it, the only way to permanently alter your fingerprints would be to have a dual hand transplant. And that seems a little over the top. The doctor has offered to do the same for all these other guys, for a price.
$25,000 for the face, the same for the prints.
There's 4 of them, $50,000 each. In today's money, a little less than $2 million. Nice work if you can get it. Except none of them has that much cash available. Mitchell says that's what the lead masks are for. You can go steal the cash, and in a lead mask, even Superman can't see who you are.
Listen, Mitchell. You're smart, plenty smart. Maybe you're too smart. Sure, we know you went out and stole a poster. But how do we know you didn't switch it for a fake one with new fingerprints?
Now listen, Scott, I don't like
Police
this.
Science says you can't do it. And something tells me I'm not so sure you can.
He says, I'll prove it. Next thing we know, he's in a diner where Clark and Lois are having lunch. He starts talking loud enough for them to hear.
Buttermilk, large glass.
Oh, if we could only get that $10 raise, I could get a new hat.
Lois, look at that man at the counter.
This is a pretty quiet city. Needs waking up.
You're certainly right about that. Well?
Did you hear his voice? Sounds just like Marty Mitchell. Look at the way he's drumming his fingers, just like Marty used to do.
And buttermilk is Marty's drink of choice. I'm not going to ask why. Ugh. Clark says, I'll bet that's Mitchell with a new face. With a little sleight of hand, he gets hold of a glass the man has handled. While Clark and Perry are checking his prints, Jimmy has joined Lois at the diner.
He's leaving.
Oh, and Clark's still checking those prints.
But we can't let him leave. What about the story?
Well, we're not positive.
Yeah, well, if Mr. Kent thinks he's Mitchell, that's good enough for me.
What's the idea?
Just hold it, Mitchell.
Mitchell? My name ain't Mitchell, it's Canfield.
Canfield. Hey, that happens to be one of my favorite solitaire games. Jimmy and Lois have the police take him to jail. There's just one problem. His fingerprints say he's not Mitchell. He really is a guy named Canfield. Clark heads to the police station to see if he can help prevent a false arrest lawsuit. When you're a mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, you can afford a car like that. At least that's what they want you to believe. I have uncovered solid evidence that Superman moonlights as a forklift at a local warehouse and gets paid under the table. That's how Clark Kent can afford that. He's at the police station. Mr. Canfield meets him at the door and starts taunting him about whether he really is Marty Mitchell.
You know, there's a 20 grand price in my head. Why don't you turn me in? That's a lot of dough, Kent. How long does it take a reporter to make that kind of money?
Judging by his car, I'd say about 3 months.
Mr. Canfield, what are you after? A reason for not suing you and your paper for false arrest? And I think I've got it. I'll settle for a full story in the afternoon edition.
He'll get the story in the afternoon edition, but Clark says if you are Marty Mitchell, you'll be sorry you went for the publicity. His pals at the hideout are convinced. He lays out some jobs they can pull to get the cash.
Calling all cars, attention, mysterious robbery reports coming in from all areas. Criminals are armed and are wearing those same lead masks. Stand by for emergency orders.
Even Superman can't be 3 places at once, but he can at least go after one of them as quick as he hears the location. And we've upped our game when it comes to the flying effects. I like it. We're varying the backdrops and working on the motion, and so far it's going well. Remember, they can't just ship it out to ILM for some computer enhancement. By the way, there's no padding inside that thing, and since this takes place in the days before seatbelts, he's going to have an impressive lump when he wakes up. Trouble is, he's got an impressive enough lump that all he's doing is babbling and falling asleep again. Clark has an idea. As Superman, he can use his supervision to track this guy's tire tracks back to their hideout. He also asks to borrow the lead mask so a newspaper artist can sketch it. Except that's not what he's going to do with it.
You bungled that job good, didn't you? We heard it on the radio. Well, we got one more big job left. Then we're clearing out. Morrell, I'm taking you with me. Wait outside in the car. I'll be right out.
When it was done, Superman decided to keep the lead mask in the trench coat. The flasher in the park was never identified.
This is the biggest job yet. The Daily Planet. They put the payroll in the safe this afternoon. Just so we can take it out tonight.
That's not why they put... Oh, he's... Never mind.
What's that? Who's that?
Jim Olson. He's a reporter.
How do you know that?
I know lots of things. In fact, I know exactly who you are.
You? Gunner Burrell? Who are you?
Superman.
Seconds later, he's unconscious, and Superman is telling Jimmy to collect Lois Lane and go to where that hideout shack is. He'll meet them there, with this guy he just caught. One of those guys is the doctor who knows how to alter fingerprints. I'd interrogate him very thoroughly.
I prize a smart fellows like you falling for a racket like this.
What are you talking about?
Mr. Canfield knows, and so does his friend here. Take off that mask.
Why, it's Marty Mitchell.
The face. It's never been changed. And the fingerprints.
We've been conned.
Never mind. Canfield learned to do Marty's voice and mannerisms well enough to fool them and lots of other people. The goal? Not to pull some big job, but to con his fellow criminals. And now he's exposed all of them so the FBI can close out a number of its most wanted cases. He should have told those guys just to wear gloves because you can't alter fingerprints.
I do not normally do this, but this one time I shall indulge myself. I told you so.
Thanks for watching, kids, and remember, clicking that like button is cool, subscribing is even cooler, leaving a comment is as cool as the coolest person you know, and becoming a patron makes you almost just like Superman. So don't hesitate. Do it today. Until next time.